Hello, friends. A very warm welcome to all of you on another episode of Corporate Banters with DK presented by Star Performance Consulting. There is an old adage health is wealth, and this is one area which we ignore the most in pursuit of busy lifestyle. And more often than not, we take control of our health when we get some unwanted surprises. In this episode, we will delve on this topic in details and how proper diet along with exercise plays an important role in keeping our body in order. I would like to welcome Mrs. Meenu Agarwal, owner of Foodnwellness. She has been into nutrition advisory and consulting services for almost a decade. She had been official nutritionist for women's cricket team of Bengal in 2020-2021. She has advised over 3,000 active clients across geographies and has created a niche for herself in delivering results for the clients. In fact, I can proudly say I have been one of the beneficiaries of Minu's expertise. Minu, a very warm welcome to you on this podcast, and it's my pleasure and honor to have you on my podcast.
Thank you, Deepak. It's a pleasure to connect with you again.
Pleasure is all mine, Minu. So let's get started with our first question, Minu. For the sake of our audience, tell us a bit about your professional journey, as in how you started your career, when did you decide on starting food and wellness?
My professional journey started in 2014 when I moved to Singapore. So I tried applying for job for many hospitals and clinics. But as you know, it's very difficult to get job if you don't hold a ET in Singapore.
Yeah,
So visa was a challenge and it was pretty demotivating and depressing.
yeah,
That in spite of knowing, being confident, still you are not able to get job.
yeah.
But that was the time when I was like a lot of discussions going on with Vinod, my husband.
Mm-hmm.
So Vinod told me, forget work for somebody and work for yourself.
Wow.
So he suggested me that launch your website and start using social media to spread the word and spread your advices or your knowledge there. So that's how it started with launch of my Facebook page, then LinkedIn, and where I started posting about health awareness and about diseases and how you should treat by or lifestyle changes can help recovering from those. So that's how it started in 2014. But as you know, people want results, and the real confidence starts when you start seeing live results with your
Yeah,
clients.
yeah,
And people don't want to pay for the services
yeah,
unless they trust you,
yeah,
and they need some examples, live example, to start building that trust or faith.
yeah.
So I also did free consultations, free suggestions and advices to some, but
Mm-hmm.
as we all know, nobody put value to the free services.
Yeah,
So but then there were few who started showing results, so that's how when they started building a trust and faith.
sure.
Obviously my confidence also grows with seeing those results, and then there was no looking back.
Fantastic.
And over this 9 years, almost 9 plus years, I have now, I would recall and say, I have handled clients across ethnicity, traveled different parts of the world, delivered lectures, talks, and there were places which I was not even able to relate in those times.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, proudly I can say now I have happy clients across the globe.
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm very, very sure about that fact. I'm one of those happy clients, honestly speaking. So, thanks to you, I was able to change my lifestyle as well. Now, moving on to our next question. We all know that eating right and nutritious food is important. However, we also believe that we are experts by watching and reading materials on social media. Tell us, how do you overcome such mindsets and how do you convince them that just like doctors, even nutritionists are doctors of making individual eat right food?
Yeah, initial days there was a challenge. I used to really work hard on convincing and explaining the client the do's and don'ts and what are the pros and cons of just following through this social media advices and all. But trust me, people just don't come today's day for food and nutrition directly to you or
Yeah.
anyone else. Before they reach a nutritionist, they always try some of their own
Yeah.
by this given internet social gyan and lectures.
Yeah.
Once they see that there is no sustainable result following that, then only they step towards a nutritionist or a dietitian they consult.
Yeah.
So mostly I see now whoever is approaching, they have this kind of understanding that the social media thing doesn't work for them.
Got it.
But yet, some newbies are always there who always keep on discussing this. And I have to explain, see, why do you go to a doctor for getting your surgery done? You could have done that by yourself by following internet step-by-step advices, but you don't, because you know that person is the expert.
Yeah.
He or she will understand your condition, will go through your reports, and based on that, he will provide you the solution and will follow the procedure. And then on top, sometimes we do need to consult and explain them to convince, give a try of 1 month or 2 months. If you don't see result after that, always take
Yeah.
go. But
Yeah.
yes, if you see some bit of result,
Mm.
then don't leave.
Yeah.
Continue till you see the right result.
Yeah. All right, Meenu, let's move on to our next question now. Corporate executives are always busy, especially since now travel has opened up. What are your recommendations to them on how to maintain good diet and exercise routine?
Well, now that travel has started, my first advice, much before I start with the diet explanation or the exercise routine, I would like them to focus on one more aspect. Travel has started, but it is not like pre-corona times. It is post-corona. Although mask is off, but don't forget to maintain your hygiene routine. Use frequently sanitizers and maintain safe distance. Do not go very close to other persons, because we are still saying corona is controlled, but there's no control technically. People are yet getting infected with corona infections.
Yeah.
And they are also seeing the consequences of this infection, that energy levels are dropping down and they're losing many days of their productivity. So let's avoid this.
Yep.
So that's one. Now, coming to diet and exercise routine. First principle is, if you are traveling to places with work, usually you are ending up staying in hotels. So ensure you exercise, use that hotel gym if gym is available early morning, so that your whole day is with you to work for. So do not wait that I will finish my day's work and then come back to hotel and then I will pursue my exercise. That never happens. Usually you don't know by what time your day will end up.
Exactly.
So end up your workout routine early morning. If there is no hotel gym availability, then ensure you go for some outdoor walks. Use staircases to do some stair climbings to pump up your blood circulation. Your heartbeat will increase, which is again another good form of cardio.
Yeah.
Do simple stretching and your body weight exercises inside your room. It just needs your body volume space inside the hotel. You don't need fancy big rooms.
Yeah.
So use that for the exercise. That is good enough during your travel times.
Sure.
As far as possible, try to sleep on time, depending on how whatever your work life is permitting during those days.
Sure.
Coming to the diet, now you strictly cannot maintain a diet, and sometimes it is not possible because of extended meeting or awkward meeting timings and all. And
Yeah.
you know that all meals are outside food only.
Yeah.
This also happens that some people, some executives I have seen, get travel in 3 days or in 2 days, three different time zones.
Yeah.
So this naturally will give a toll on your health for sure. Few things you keep in mind, that try to have low sodium food, like low salt food. As it is, we Indians have a tendency of having high salt, and our food is usually high on salt. So special care to be taken that no sprinkling of salt, no extra addition of salt.
Sure.
Whenever, as and when possible, try to avoid buying those packaged food which has preservatives.
Right.
Minimally consuming those packaged is what is advisable. Try carrying some handful of nuts or small snack packets from your home for your short travel stays, depending on which country, which place you are traveling, and what are the norms and allowances of food
Sure.
carrying. You need to follow that. But these snacks can be your handy resource. Why? Because when you are traveling, what happens? We plan for our breakfast. Usually we finish in the hotel, then leave for meeting, and we definitely plan for lunch and dinner. But there is no fixed slot for in between snack timing.
Yeah.
Usually, we end up having some sort of bakery goods or something along with the coffee or tea.
Yeah.
Which neither comprises of your breakfast, lunch, or dinner and loaded with unhealthy calories.
Right.
So this is when a healthy snack bar or some nuts or seeds, if you are carrying along with you, can be used. And this is an extremely nicer way of giving your body a small dose of good food. Yet you are not starving and you are ready to wait till your dinner time comes.
Right. Since you mentioned protein bar, I wanted to ask you one thing. Now, protein bar typically has sugar in it. Is that a good sugar to have when you're having the protein bar?
See, these days, if with little bit of effort, we can actually make these snack bars at home, wherein we don't add any sugar. You
Okay.
can use the natural sugar which is available in dry fruits, which is healthy.
Right.
And regarding the main meals, also try to avoid very thick, rich gravy food, deep fried food, if possible. Try opting for grilled, baked, or just slightly sauteed food or steamed food. Because you need to keep in mind each and every meal is outside food and it is going to be calorie dense.
Yeah.
And, during our corporate travels or work travel, long extended hours of meeting, you are bound to sit in one place for prolonged hours.
Yeah.
So one more suggestion is keep a watch on your water intake. Ensure that you are well hydrated. Don't compromise on your water intake for sure.
Right.
Water retention is a big challenge because when you're eating all meals outside, you will see some inflammation will happen. Water retention is a normal problem.
Yeah.
And especially for those who travels on long flights and all,
Yeah.
they will see swelling and this water retention, especially if you see on under your eye, there's small bags or some little bit of inflammation starts forming. So during flight, we all know that we are suggested to keep ourselves hydrated, but we hardly follow.
Yeah.
So this is the time. Avoid any caffeine, especially tea, coffee, or alcohol which has been served. Try focus having after every 1 hour or 45 minutes possible one full glass of water. And you can also order for mineralized solutions like a ginger ale is a good option after water. Instead of having alcoholic drink, one should have that to replace the electrolytes which is needed for the dehydration because aircraft we know the environment creates dehydration.
Right.
And keep topping up with water. That helps.
Right. Interesting advices, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to follow a few of those. Moving on, tell us few things about nutrition which every individual should apply in their lifestyle.
Few things about nutrition. First, being mindful and watchful of what we are popping inside our mouth. Don't think this is a small bite, hardly impact. Remember, except plain water, anything and everything what we put inside our mouth counts in terms of calories. Whether it is healthy or unhealthy calories, that's secondary, but it counts on calories. So anything we eat, we have to be watchful. And naturally, being focused on healthy calorie intake is always a suggested thing. And the second thing is when we say about having nutritious food, watch your plate, how your plate is designed, or what all is your plate containing. So always maintain a mindset that whether it is breakfast, lunch, or dinner, this is the three main meals of the day. Each time, your plate should have good amount of protein, also equivalent quantity of carbohydrate, but wholesome carbohydrate, not the processed one, and 2 times the amount of protein should be vegetables.
Got it.
If you can maintain this proportion, no matter what is happening, you are actually eating healthy.
Got it.
Because this kind of composition of plate enables your body to have all your macros and micros in a well balanced manner.
It's a great advice, and you have put this in a very lucid manner for everybody to understand. So, have a protein equivalent amount of carbohydrates, wholesome carbohydrates, and then double the portion size of protein as vegetables. Amazing. Moving on, your daughter is a professional cricketer. Congratulations on that. Tell us, how different is a sports person's diet to a corporate professional?
Big gap and big difference.
Mhm.
Usually, when we see corporate professionals, they are mostly sedentary persons.
Yeah.
They might be working day in and out,
Mm.
not sitting at one position.
Yeah.
Some might be moving here in and out, but compared to a sports person, it's almost nil.
Mm.
So the physical movement is less, physical activity level is less.
Mhm.
And for a sports person, the training is actually giving a toll on their body.
Right.
Continuous training, and then the stress level they go through. Not every time we see the glory of a sports person, so
Yeah.
called, so good, famous,
Yeah.
performing so good. But the fact is, the failure is way higher than the success.
Right.
And they go through a lot of ups and downs mentally also,
Right.
and that impacts their physical condition.
Right.
So naturally, their diet is differently composed.
Okay.
Just now, I said one portion protein, one portion carbohydrate, and two portion of vegetables, which also include fruits. It's unlike that. Protein has to be high in sports person athletes' diet.
Right.
Because their training is enormous, and we know when we do train our body, physical training, the muscle wear and tear is high.
Right.
To recover that muscle, to recover from fatigue mentally also and physically also, their protein element has to be high.
Sure.
So here, one portion of carbs, two portion of protein,
Okay.
and then plenty of vegetables and fruits.
Got it.
So protein is high, and in fact, protein percentage count is also different for the sports person, depending on what sort of game they are involved, how intensive their training is. It has to be customized as per the sports what they are playing.
Of course.
And along with the diet, I also always focus and emphasize on improving sleep quality and duration for the athletes.
Right.
This is sometimes not possible because they might be traveling to different places, different cities, countries, or states for their games, training, etc. And it can be back to back, so they hardly get time to recover properly. They don't get enough sleep, so that impacts on their performance. The body becomes injury prone. So to avoid all these factors, usually suggest non-training days when they have days off. They should actually sleep. We call like sleep like a bear. So it's not only food for them, food plus mental health recovery. That's a sleep is very important for them.
Sure. Absolutely. I completely understand the point which you're trying to make. The reason why I asked that question was sometimes as a corporate professional, we look at this post person and we try to emulate their lifestyle in terms of maybe their fitness regimen or their diet. And I always believe that, I mean, our lifestyles are very different, as you mentioned, with their lifestyle. So there is no way we can emulate their routine for us to get the same level of fitness. Moving on, what's your advice to people who give up following a certain type of diet midway? How should they keep themselves motivated?
See, it's a little tricky question. When you say a certain type of diet, knowing that today there is no end to fancy diets, whether it is water diet, cabbage diet, low carb diet, keto diet, you just name.
Yeah.
First and foremost thing one should keep in mind that try opting something which you can do for long. Depending on what your goals are, there can be certain short-term intervention, which short-term diet objective, you can do that. But try doing in a manner or opt something which is very close to your normal lifestyle, normal food habit. It should not be very fancy that you do for some few days and you're bound to not follow after that.
Yeah, makes sense.
Also, one must need to understand clearly that food is not only in terms of counting calories, but this also satisfy you mentally. It should be satiating you. The satiety value is very important because if you're not happy eating something, your mind will always keep thinking about food only.
Yeah, very nice point. So basically, the key to motivation is having a long-term sustainable diet, and secondly, a diet which gives you mental satisfaction.
Yes. Periodical some feedbacks, monitoring, follow-ups are also important.
Makes sense. I'll move on to my next question now. Preventive healthcare is gaining significant momentum in last few years. What's your thought on that, and how should an individual go about it?
I believe preventive healthcare is the way forward.
Mm-hmm.
See, there's no point waiting and watching and ignoring when you know there is something wrong happening to your body. Just as we were talking a few minutes ago, right? Your body gives you all signals. We are ready or not to receive that. Are we in that state of mind? So that is what preventive healthcare gives. The moment you start receiving signals or you are seeing some symptoms, is always better to take step towards it at the initial stage and try to reverse that before it becomes a havoc and becomes impossible to treat it or reverse it totally. Especially in terms of chronic diseases, I have seen so many patients that their initial stages when they were identified, say for example, cholesterol, people don't take it as health issue. So preventive healthcare comes here that get your regular health test done. Learn to identify your body's signal, which says whether you are feeling good or bad. There are days when we are very charged up, fit, and ready to go. There are days we are lethargy, we don't have enough energy, or mentally we are not aligned. Why? Do not just ignore it. Think, why is it so? Something wrong in the previous day? My sleep timing was delayed, or my food was something wrong, or something happened? We don't identify, we don't put that effort.
Right.
And that is where things start building up. Also, know people who will say, what if I get the test done and the result comes something wrong? And because of that, they ignore with the fear that the report might be something with red numbers, you know. But ignoring and not getting tested is not a solution.
Right.
That is not going to prevent you from getting the health disease.
Right. All right. Moving on to my last question. You have been an entrepreneur for so many years. Share some of the learnings as an entrepreneur with your fellow women.
Okay, so entrepreneurship is the talk of the town. Everybody just wants to become entrepreneur or
Yeah.
to start up.
Yeah.
My advice, think through it. It's a journey, and any journey is always meant to be with ups and downs. You should be mentally also prepared for good days and bad days. Journeys are not so easy.
Right.
So, being mentally prepared, whether financially and overall emotional, mental well balance, and also identify your support system is also crucial. However, whatever journey you are planning to, must understand failure are going to be there.
Right.
Giving up is no solution. You should be mentally ready that those downfall days will come, and these are the days of your testing phase. In fact, it helps you to become more stronger and stronger.
Right.
Especially for the women, I would say, women, it's very important to stand for yourself, to become independent. It's a very good thought to be entrepreneur, but always remember it's not an easy and smooth journey. Women have a lot of other responsibilities as well. So before you jump into this journey, plan for all those things. Maybe whether your children need you, your family needs you. So those things also we cannot ignore. Don't just think that like men, my husband is doing, he is not taking care of or not responsible for all these aspects. Why should I bother? Women are supposed to be multitaskers, so always mentally be prepared for this, that maintaining a fine balance yet not compromising on your goals or your dreams is equally important. So learn, understand, and figure out that fine balance so that equilibrium should also not be disrupted and you start your journey and create your own identity.
Right. Right. Yeah, very well said. And you're absolutely right. I mean, woman plays so many roles, and it's so important to balance between those roles. All right, Minu, this is all what I had in terms of questions. Now we are going to move into our rapid fire round. Are you ready for that?
Yes.
All right, let's get started. One thing which everybody should eat every day.
One fruit.
All right. What's better, milk or fruit juice?
Milk, provided this is organic and if possible hormone free.
All right. Most health conscious country in your mind?
New Zealand.
Oh, really? Okay. Future of women cricket in India, given your daughter is a professional cricketer.
Big, bright, shiny future. Just wait and watch for the women's IPL to start with.
All right, that's very encouraging to hear. Any book recommendation on nutrition and health for corporate executives?
I personally like one book which is not very nutrition focused, but yes, it is helpful for as any woman and also the corporates. Women, you are your own boss.
All right, Menu, that's all what I had. I think this has been a great podcast. Some of the points which you mentioned are pretty unique. I'm pretty sure that you can't Google those facts and find those out. It can only come from an expert like you. For example, the points which you mentioned on low sodium food while traveling, avoiding packaged food, mindful and being watchful of what you are eating, then long-term sustainability of the diet what you're following, the mental satisfaction part. So thank you so much for your time and such valuable insights and inputs. I'm pretty sure the audience is going to love all the inputs which you have given, and really appreciate you spending and letting us know your expert advices.
Thank you so much, Deepak, for giving this opportunity and great connecting with you and discussing on this topic. Thank you.
Thank you, Menu, and have a good day.